Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving no praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Kodash, that belongs to the apostles of GMS and honesty, brothers doing the work in truth and with sincerity. It's a quick one to see where the spirit leads. I haven't really got much apart from this, right? This is Nahum 1 and 3. It says, the Lord Yahweh is slow to anger, right, and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked, right? So that first bit there makes me think of this scripture, right? This is Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. This is because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, right? So, because the Most High, right, hasn't come down on these devils think that whatever it is that they're doing, right, that the Lord has just kind of winked at it, that the Lord isn't going to come back and, require that they pay for all of the wickedness that they have done, right? It says, because sins against the evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, right? So because they never got punished for it, they thought, they could do it again, right? So like, when you was younger, maybe you took, a cookie, you shouldn't have taken a cookie, right? But because you never got caught, you thought, okay, cool, I can get away with this. What'd you do? You carried on taking cookies until one day you got beaten, right? And then you're like, oh fuck, because you never realized that you were mounting a tab, right? Also makes me think of this is 5 and 8. Yeah. No, 11 and 5 actually. Right, it says Zechariah 11 and 5, right? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, right? So these devils, ultimately, they don't want to, they don't want to hold themselves guilty, man, right? They'll do all that fake stuff, all of the, oh, so sorry, oh man, but really, which what elder brother was going into, a couple of weeks ago at camp, really, that's just a way for them to feel like they have, a role to play, for them to feel included, for these E's to feel included, man, right? So it says, who possesses slay them, hold themselves not guilty, right? Because, if it will never go back to the point of, okay, cool, what we've done to you, you can do to us. They won't admit that, right? And in their mind's eye, they can't even imagine that happening. They can't envision that happening, right? It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Right? So they don't understand that the Most High hasn't given them a pass. Why? Because because a sentence against an evil work is not executed. That was the previous on here actually, previous verse, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against evil work is not executed speedily, right? So these devils has just been having their way with Jake, right? But the time of recompense is gonna come, and we're at that, right? These devils are asking, oh, why is this happening? Why do you think, right? So let me grab this actually. It says Obadiah 1 and 10, right? It says this. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Right? Because, Esau wants to make it seem like everyone's just turning on him, right? For turning on him's sake. Oh, why are they picking on me? Nah. He says, for violence against our brother Jacob. So these things are happening, are starting to happen to Esau because of all of the wickedness that he's done to the children of Israel, right? And then when you read Ezekiel, what does it say? Right. It's Ezekiel 35 and 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, right? So perpetual, he's had a hatred from the garden, man, right? He's had a hatred. Then, you see Cain, it's the same spirit. When you see Esau, it's the same spirit, man. Right? What did Esau say? Esau said, the time of mourning for my father is at hand, therefore will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's what he's been doing all this time. He's been trying to find ways of getting rid of Jacob. Right? In fact, I'll load one up right now. And then I'll continue on with this. This is Jeremiah somewhere, 30, I think 30, 31. Yeah, so we'll come back to that, right? So it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Right, saith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So as these Edomites haven't hated blood, because they've been shedding the blood of the children of Israel in one way or another, right? They got this coronavirus thing now where they're trying to make Jake to be the face of the coronavirus. And what's all that for? That's all as part of Esau's plan to get rid of the children of Israel, right? And then you look at abortions, right? It was in like 2012. New York had aborted more quote black babies than were born, man. Well, I believe it was 2012, right? But that's in recorded history. There was a year in America where New York, more black, quote unquote, because that's what the article would say, right? But more black, quote unquote, babies were aborted than were born, man. Right, but you telling me this man hasn't hated blood. So what's Yahweh saying here? Right, it says, therefore I will prepare thee unto blood, right, and blood shall pursue thee. Right, just like how right now these curses these curses pursue us, man. Right, you might think you're away from the curses, and then them curses will just come out, from behind the curtain and say boo. Right, that's what blood is gonna be like for Esau. Blood's gonna pursue him, man. Right, such that his destruction is going to be worse than anything we've ever seen. And oh man, when we get you Edomites in the kingdom, man, look, we going to know everything, right? Because there's certain stories, man, that you hear of all the wickedness that Esau has done to us. Man, makes your blood boil. But that's not even the half of it. That's just what the little things that were recorded, right? Because not everything was recorded. If it was a normal day, what's special about it? You might feel like you don't want to record it that day, right? So this is Jeremiah 31, 35, an example of these devils, trying to get rid of the Israelites, right? It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, right? Which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is a name. So, it's basically going into the accolades. It's like, Yahweh, who's done this, who's done that, who's done that, right? Putting respect, on the name of the Lord's name. So it says that Yahweh of hosts is his name, right? It says, if those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation from before me. All right, it says, thus saith Yahweh. I really don't even know where I read therefore. It says, thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, right, which is what Esau does, right, with his different telescopes and his different satellites that he sends out into the heavens. Right, you gotta understand this man spends billions, right, putting things into outer space, right. So it says, if heaven above can be measured and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, right. So basically, Esau, he's been going out, basically trying to measure everything in the earth, trying to go send his probes into the bottom of the sea, right? Trying to fulfill that as well, right? But why? It says, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh, right? So the only reason that this devil's even considering to do this is in the hope that the children of Israel can be done away with. But look, Esau doesn't understand it was never his birthright, man. This is Hebrews 12 and 17, no, 16, right? Hebrews 12:16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, right? So he sold his birthright, man, for one morsel of meat. I mean, what kind of man does that? And the worst thing is and this is how we know that it's that same spirit that Cain had, right? Because after being called out for doing the wrong thing, which was never his anyway, right? That's the understanding. But after he was called out for doing the wrong thing, right, he tried blaming everyone else. He saw this. That's one thing about this devil, man. He can't take responsibility, man. Right? And as and scripture says, as the rule of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. What's one of the things he pushes on these friends, on these women? These women live consequence free lives. Why? Because he's the ruler of this city, and he's basically put it out there that they should have no what do you call it, no repercussions to their actions, right? And as such, also that's also the world that we grew up in, right? So one of the things that we've got to be, and I'll put my hands up, man. That's a taking responsibility. That's something that I've struggled with, right? I remember one time a work colleague, man. I just asked him, for straight up opinion, what he thinks. You know what I mean? I was like, look, man. I got had to pry it out from him. He's like, look, man, you don't take responsibility, right? And the worst thing about it is I didn't take responsibility for not taking responsibility, because then I tried blaming him. I was like, yo, why didn't you tell me before instead of taking responsibility, right? But that's Esau for you, man. Esau doesn't want to take responsibility, and that's part of the old man, and certainly something I've been trying to work on, and I'll definitely implore brothers to do the same thing, right? So it says Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So he sold it, right? Despite the fact, this was meant to happen. This was in the spirit, right? It says, for how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears, right? So Esau sought that carefully with tears, man. But look, man, look, man. This is Second Ezra 6:8, right? It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born unto him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? The hand, so that's why that happened, right? When you look into the prophecy, when Rebecca, sorry, was still pregnant, right? It's like, if it be so, why am I thus? Right? What was she told? The elder shall serve the younger. So Esau's going to serve us, man, right? Right now, he's the one that the Lord's given rulership of the earth, while for this a prophecy to be fulfilled, right? It says Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, and that signified something. And verse 9 tells you what it signifies, right? It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Ezra asked thou not, right? So where were we? Right. So we read this, yes, because thou hast perpetual hatred. Yeah, so we've got that as well. Right. So back in Nahum 1:3, it says Yahweh was slow to anger, right, and great in power. Right. It says, and will not, and the part that greatness is going to be shown, right, in the destruction of this man's kingdom, right? Let me grab this if I can find it quickly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So in fact, I'll read from the top, and then I'll what do you call it? I'll jump down to it. Right. It says Malachi 4:1. Right. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. Right. And how's that gonna be? That's gonna be by way of them ICBM, which stands for intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right. Being dropped on America, and in 1 hour, pursuant to the Book of Revelation, all America is gonna be destroyed. Right. So the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Right. So this, the day of the Lord, man. It's there's gonna be some heavy destruction, man. It's gonna burn hot, right? And I remember when Apostle Tar broke this down, a while back. He basically said, when you consider oven, don't be thinking about a little electric oven that's in your house, right? Think about them ancient ovens, man, which you put the bread in, one, two, bam, it's done, right? So jump down to verse 5, right? So behold, I'll send you Elijah the prophet, right, which we believe that to be Elder Abba Bivens, right? If you can receive it, right? So it says, "Behold, I'll send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh," right? Um, right. So back here it says, Nehemiah 1:3, "The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked." Right, so Esau can go around thinking that he's gotten away, but he hasn't gotten away with it, man. In fact, let me grab that as well. It says, in fact, I'm going to make sure I got that right. It was Elder Abba, right? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Um, what do I want? What do I want? I do what I want. I want no, I don't want that. I want what am I doing? Ah, that's the one. It says Revelation, Book of Revelation 18:5. Right, it says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities." Right, it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled to her double." Right, so the Most High has seen everything, right? He's observed everything, right? And I need the time of judgment's gonna come, right? So yeah, just to finish up in Nahum 1:3, it says, "Yahweh hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds of the dust of his feet." Right. So yeah, as always, Lord's all that was edifying, and to the next time I say Shalom.